is a video going around on TikTok claiming that the Suez Canal proves that the Earth is flat. And at first glance, to people who aren't fully aware of the roundness of the Earth, it sounds slightly convincing. A perfectly straight canal with no locks and no visible curvature. Flat Earth confirmed, right? Let's explore this. Hello there, welcome back to Star Stuff, where I annoy flat earthers, space deniers, and people who don't like how slow I speak. I must say, sounds like a you problem. Today we're going to break down a pretentious flat earth TikTok video with real measurements, real physics, just a little bit of sarcasm. Just to explain, the Suez Canal is a man-made waterway that's in Egypt. It connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. It's about 193 kilometers long, which is about 120 miles, and it's just filled with ships passing through. It was engineered using modern surveying techniques that absolutely account for the shape of the Earth. So if this canal somehow proved the Earth was flat, it would mean generations of engineers, physicists, and navigators all missed something very obvious. And I just want to let you know, they didn't. So the first major claim they make in the video is the canal is straight, therefore the Earth is flat.
This is, honestly, the best proof that the Earth is flat. The Suez Canal. It's 193 kilometers long. There are no locks, no pumps, no elevation changes. Just a straight channel of water cut right through the Egyptian desert, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea.
So this sounds logical until you realize what straight actually means. A straight line just means no horizontal deviation. It says nothing about vertical curvature. If you draw a line across a globe, that line is still straight, but it follows the curve of the surface. This is called a geodesic, the shortest path between 2 points on a curved surface. And that's exactly what large-scale engineering projects use. So yes, the canal is straight, but it's straight on a curved Earth.
Massive container vessels, oil tankers, warships, you name it. And here is the number that, well, stopped me cold the first time I encountered it.
Cold. So dramatic.
According to the globe model, over a distance of 193 kilometers, the surface of the Earth should curve downward by approximately 2,927 meters. That's nearly 9,604 feet of missing curve. Almost 3 kilometers of Earth that should be bending away beneath that canal. And yet, the water in the Suez Canal sits at a constant level from one end to the other. No pumping required. No locks to manage elevation. No engineering solution for the curve.
Oh no, he ran out of music. Let's put some actual numbers to this. Over the full length of the Suez Canal, which is 193 kilometers, the tangent drop is about 2.9 kilometers. If you draw a perfectly straight line tangent, which is a flat line, starting from one entrance of the canal and extend it 193 kilometers into space, the Earth's surface at the other end will have dropped 2.93 kilometers away from that line. And the center arc bulge, which is 0.73 kilometers, if you draw a straight chord line connecting both ends of the canal through the Earth, the center of the canal arches 0.73 kilometers, which is 733 meters, above that chord line. So why don't you see it? Because that curve is spread out gradually over that entire distance. Your eyes don't detect slow, continuous curvature over long distances, especially when you're standing at ground level. It's the same reason why the Earth looks flat when you're standing on a field, but very much not flat from space. Or to put it another way, if you zoom in far enough on a massive circle, it looks like a straight line. And that's not evidence of flatness.
No locks to manage elevation. No engineering solution for the curve, because the engineers who built it in 1869 didn't account for any curve at all. Either the greatest engineering project of the 19th century was built on a catastrophic mathematical error that somehow went unnoticed, or there is no curve. Just think about which one is more likely.
People are really convinced by this AI guy's voice. The canal has no locks, so it must be flat. No. Locks are used when there's a difference in elevation between two bodies of water. The Suez Canal doesn't have locks because the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea are pretty much at the same sea level. There's no height difference, so there's no need for locks. Compare that to the Panama Canal, which does have locks because it crosses land at a higher elevation. This is just different geography. It's not evidence of a flat Earth.
If you dig a 193-kilometer trench through the ground on a curved planet and fill it with water, that water, according to the globe model, should be sitting on a surface that curves nearly 3 kilometers below where it started. Water at the midpoint of the canal should be almost 1,500 meters higher than the water at either end if measured against a true flat horizontal. The ships sailing through it would be going up a 3-kilometer hill and then coming back down, and nobody would need to pump anything because gravity would handle it. But that is not what happens. The ships sail flat. The water sits flat.
Water finds its level. It's probably one of the most misunderstood ideas in this entire debate. So water finds its level doesn't mean water forms a perfectly flat plane. It means water settles along an equipotential surface, a surface where gravity is equal everywhere. On a spherical planet, that surface is curved. So yes, water does find its level, but that level is shaped by gravity, which points toward the center of the Earth. If water were truly flat in the way this claim suggests, oceans wouldn't wrap around the planet. They would just spill off into space, which would be really inconvenient.
The engineers' own survey documents from the 1869 construction show no curvature compensation in their calculations. They treated the surface as flat. They built the canal flat, and it works perfectly. And the globe believers look at that and say the engineers were right to ignore the curve because the water curves with the Earth. But that is not an explanation. That is a reclassification. You are just defining flat as curved and calling it solved.
Okay, why do you lie, liar? The entire field of geodesy exists specifically to measure Earth's shape. Surveyors use curvature corrections all the time, especially over long distances like canals, railways, and pipelines. In fact, if engineers ignored Earth's curvature while building the Suez Canal, the alignment errors would stack up so fast, like massive deviations over tens or hundreds of kilometers. Ships wouldn't glide smoothly through it. They'd be navigating a very expensive mistake. This argument seems to be working on TikTok because it relies on intuition over measurement, visual perception over scale, and simplified phrases like water finds its level without context. So it just feels right for people who don't think to do some actual research. So no, the Suez Canal doesn't prove that the Earth is flat. It does prove something much more impressive, that humans can understand the shape of the planet, measure it with incredible precision, and then carve a 193-kilometer shipping lane straight through it. That is a lot more interesting than pretending it's flat. You must remember, curiosity is great, but it works best when you bring the maths with you and stop blindly believing nonsense TikTok videos. Thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can join to become a member if you'd like to support the channel further. Comment below, even if you don't like what I have to say, or how I say it, or where I say it, or when I say it. Cool beans!